Yo, yo, yo! It's your boy HifiVega and the man who loves kicker more than most. What's up, Andy?
More than I should. What's going on, Vega? Thanks for bringing me on. We're gonna have some fun tonight.
But listen, man, I discovered something that I did not know that El Fuego has a YouTube channel. What?
Mm-hmm.
How did I not do know this? Like, what's going on, El Fuego? Have you been keeping me in the dark? Matter of fact, before we even start, let me screen share here. I want you guys to see me subscribing to El Fuego's channel right now. Wait, I'm gonna make sure I open the correct one here. Is it under El Fuego?
I believe so. Yeah, I was just checking it out, and he had a long video of talking about stuff on there. Let's see.
All right, let's see.
I
Oh
know
yeah,
it's on
we're
there.
separated by channels.
Yeah. Oh, it's tough looking for specific people on YouTube
Yeah,
for some reason.
dude, it is. Especially if you don't have like 5,000 subscribers for whatever reason. All right,
Right.
let's see. Let me see. Is this it? Not me. Not that El Fuego. It's a different
No,
El Fuego.
no. It had to been him unless it wasn't your live stream. Was it the live stream that you did with him talking? Maybe it might have been
It
that.
could have been. It could have
It
been.
could have
Maybe.
been that with the Patreon. I swear, because I know Bobby B sent me one, but I might be mixing it up. But I know
Oh
I
yeah,
seen
yeah.
him
Bobby
talking about.
Bobby was on one as well.
Yeah,
It,
and
it was
Dave.
like a Patreon stream.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that you did that for those guys. They're
Yeah.
awesome.
This isn't our El Fuego right here.
That
Although,
looks pretty fire though. You know, it
like
might be
El
El
Fuego,
Fuego.
if he had some neck tats, like our El Fuego had some neck tats, I mean, come on. He'd be-
I can see it. I can see it.
oh man. So what's been going on with you, bro? What's
What's going on, Scott? I don't know. I've been doing a little bit of audio stuff. I just shot some footage for a video I'm gonna drop tomorrow. Patreon saw that already. Nothing crazy, but I'm gonna do some amp dynoing this weekend. Mostly I just been working on that old motorcycle that I got.
Oh yeah,
How about
that's
you?
cool, man. Listen, if you don't like balance your hobbies, so if you go too far into audio or too far into whatever, you're gonna kind of get burned out. So you got to break it up.
Right. That's kind of like what it's like, man, I like other stuff too, you know? Like, I got to take care of my fish tanks. I got to take care of this bike. Oh, and I got
Right.
kids too. Can't forget about those guys, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they're not gonna let you forget for sure.
No.
If you do forget, they're gonna put your glasses on the ground so you step on them.
Oh, they say, wake up. We're here.
Dean is in the house, dude. He put out the. I don't know if you've seen it, but he done the Rockford Fosgate documentary, like he done Kicker.
No way. I got to
I,
see that.
I didn't get to watch it all today, but I watched some of it, and I figured like I just want to talk to him about that documentary tomorrow. Tomorrow's show, we're gonna talk all about it. It's gonna be Dean's Rock Doc.
That's awesome. I really like the one he did for Kicker, just like how
Yeah,
you and Derek went and did yours for them too. Uh,
yeah,
I still haven't been down there yet. You know, the first time I was watching, I think it was Derek's, or, you know, whenever
yeah.
you guys went down, I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this because I want to go experience it
Experience
myself
it.
for the first time. But it's like, after all, watching that and then, you know, Kicker
Yeah,
showing theirs, it's like, well, I've already been there virtually. So when I go
right.
there physically, I'm sure it'll be even better.
It's like I would say like Dean's documentary is probably closest to what it's really like there. Derek, like, dude, I let Derek down so bad on that. I did not take hardly any video, and he's getting all the shots, all the video. Um, so everything was just totally on whatever he got. And but when you go there in person, it's way different, man. It's cool, and I'm literally 3 hours away. So when you go, holler at me, man. I'll try to take off work and meet you up there, or if you want,
Absolutely.
you can crash right here in the studio on your way. So.
Hey, as long as you got room for the kiddos too. I'm not sure if we're bringing
Oh
one,
yeah.
two, three, or all of them. You know what I mean? I'll
Hey
let you
man.
know.
Listen, my kids are already adults, so
Yeah.
pretty much.
Ah, so you got babysitters too. That's awesome.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah. See, I got one. She's going to college. She'll be graduated in 2023, and she's going to be an early education teacher,
Awesome.
which
Awesome.
surprised me
Yeah,
definitely.
but that's we need that. You know, you
Oh
need
yeah,
that.
for sure.
But
So
yeah, it's
audio.
hard filming. I wanted to bring up. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hard
Go ahead.
filming when you're like like how you said when you were a kicker, you didn't really film too much for Derek yourself. It's
Yeah.
hard pulling out the camera. You just want to look at it yourself and enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm very bad about like Derek is. This is why he has all them old school. Like his dad took all them old school BMX videos and stuff, which is awesome to have way later down the road. But
Right.
I get there, I'm in the moment, and I'm rare because I feel like if I'm videoing, I'm working, and sometimes you just want to enjoy it. Now for
Absolutely.
sure, I will video because I've been there a couple times now.
Yeah, you might as well get some shots now. You already seen it
Yeah,
all.
I already. I seen that plus a bunch of stuff I probably wasn't supposed to see. Because Kip will bring you around, and it's like, we're not going to talk about that sitting right there. We're just going to act like that's not there, or
I know
you're not supposed to know about that.
I was surprised they let anyone in there because they do just have stuff laying in the hallway.
Dude, there is stuff everywhere in that place. Oh man.
But yeah, let's get to the meat and gravy of our topics, I guess you could say, for tonight's show. Other than we're gonna see what everyone else wants to talk about today. That's on the chat and watching us now. But I thought we could cover a few things with at least us guys up north. With winter and what do you do with your system if say you don't drive it all the time, or even if you do drive it all the time, how to take care of your equipment during the winter off season.
Yeah, especially like lithium. It's bad enough with like AGMs. You still need to trickle charge them and stuff, but lithium specifically, you need to take care with that because you're not getting enough amp hours to just sit all winter and start up. That's hard enough on an AGM, which has oftentimes 10 times the amount of amp hours that a standard lithium cell does.
Right, and that's the whole benefit with lithium. I mean, obviously the amp hours are lower, but for the discharge and stuff like that, you're getting a ton of power. But like you said, if you have a trickle charge, a parasitic draw from the BMS, the battery monitoring system, so your amp or your lithium doesn't blow up, that's obviously using power, so it's going to pull from that amperage. But again, it comes down to the chemistry of the batteries too. Where I wanted to bring up some things too, where I've always been told, if you're not using your car, put it on a charger. And if you're going to use it, pull it off, whatever. And that makes sense because a lot of batteries, wet cell, AGM, they're all pretty much the same, where, they have a higher discharge, not value, but they, over time, just sitting, will discharge faster, desulfate. And that's why you want to have them on a trickle charger. Now, you would think it would be the same thing for lithium, plus you have less amp hours like you were mentioning. So you're going to have a smaller window when the battery's dead. But they actually do have a smaller discharge of just sitting on a shelf. And lithium, I'm really familiar with lithium iron phosphate, PO4s, like the JYHP40s and stuff like that. It's like, quote, the safer lithium. Maybe less discharge compared to a lithium ion or, Yinglong, stuff like that.
Right.
But it's different with how I'm trying to remember. I feel like Joe Biden here for a second. I forgot where I was at.
We'll circle back to
We'll circle back to that. But the JYHP40s, the lithium iron phosphates, I'm familiar with those. So what I was told, and I have a pretty good form that I'll probably have you leave in the description for after the video. There's the headways.
Headway.
Those are nice. Now that's lithium iron phosphate too. The headways.
Yep.
So that's why they're quote safer than say lithium ion, just because just of their chemistry background and stuff. But I see those in the lanes a lot. The headways because they're cheaper. I don't know.
Well, and then you have batteries like this right here, which is actually like a SPIM cell, I think they call it, which is similar to a EH5 and kind of in the C-Max type situation. I can bring it closer to the camera here. So these are double packs.
Yeah,
and each one of them is 16 amp hours, and this is 2 banks here. I've still got to balance them out and then put the bouncer on there. These are super high discharge. These have to be compressed. I'm a bit nervous about even running these in the house, to be honest with you. I don't know. I bought these because they were cheap, And I don't know if I want to use these in the house or not, or I just want to use the headway bank, or stick
I
with
would
my
use the
A-game.
headway, but those ones, are those like blue or are those just like slates? The ones you have
These
right there.
these are, they're like packs. They're little like gel packs inside of black holders.
Oh, wow.
So it's like
It's like the C-Max, like you were saying.
it's yeah, it's like the C Max. So it's a little more volatile.
Yeah. But as
But
long as you run it within its parameters, you know what I mean, of what the battery can do, it'll last, because that's the thing with people with C-Max is junk, and some people, they'll bash that brand till the end of time. But I know people, they clamp 64,000 watts out of a 180 amp hour bank
dude,
of it, and it's
C
just
Max is just like the amount of power, like density in a C Max is super impressive, man. But it's scary too.
absolutely, especially for the price. You can't beat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want a balancer on your lithium. I mean, if you're gonna build your own, you don't want cells discharging faster than other ones when they're all wired in parallel. When you're when you're talking some electrical stuff, that's when things can go wrong. Usually, when a lithium bank either pre-built or you bought and you put it together yourself, why they go bad and maybe catch on fire is because they're unbalanced, and it's usually because the
Right.
BMS goes.
Right. And I think if I had more experience with these cells, that I wouldn't be as nervous. But having minimal experience with those cells, I have more experience playing with the headways a little bit. So I'm a little more comfortable with the headways than I am these other ones. But we're gonna build it out, and we're gonna try for sure. See what they can do.
I like cells like that because that's just it's flat, whatever the lithium, those little things are made out, and they wrap it around in a cylinder just like a 18650 lithium ion vape battery.
Yeah.
But I like how it has the top and bottom. I feel like those terminals are a little bit safer than maybe some of the ones from the other different packs, because you don't know how those terminals are soldered in very good or not. I mean, how much did you pay for that bank of 16 amp hour, those ones right there, the black one there?
Those were like I want to say it was like $90 or $100, less than $100
Wow,
shipped, less than
that's
$100
cheap.
shipped, and each bank is like a max discharge of like 400 amp,
Woo.
continuous. It says. Now I
Wow,
don't know.
that's
I don't know how true that is, but this is
yeah.
what it's rated. Peak ratings.
Right before it catches fire after the 5 minute,
Right.
burp, and then that's 400 amp continuous. That's twice the JYHP 40.
Yeah. So I'm assuming it's more like maybe half that. Maybe it's like boss ratings, but you never know.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a good question for Dave Bryant. Do you do a big three if you have a battery in the trunk running 2 watt to it? Um, I probably wouldn't, because I would just ground directly to the battery. At that point, if your amps are back there, I would just ground directly to the battery, go straight to your battery. You already got a 2 watt run. In my opinion, that's good. If you're going to do chassis grounds, you
Yeah,
might not have to do your big three, but you need to do like maybe just a big three chassis grounds or frame grounds, or body grounds. But if you're grounding straight to the battery, there's really no need.
I know. I feel like that would be something cool for maybe Dean to do, because he's real into that kind of stuff, and figure out what the best kind of ground is depending on vehicles. Like do different vehicles with chassis frames, or unibodies, and
Yeah.
different scenarios with what kind of batteries. Because even batteries have internal resistance very low, which why
Right.
they work as grounds. But what is best?
I think on a lot of these new ones, they just run positive and negative. They run like the Marine kit, so you
Yeah,
get a full length negative, full length positive, and they don't even mess, because a lot of them are like welded together, and you're just not gonna get a good ground like that.
right. Makes sense.
And speaking of, so I picked up
Yeah, what's that guy back
a
there?
Black Friday. This one, man, this is a cat bank, but this is way. I'm not gonna hold this up in front of camera
Did
because
you
it
say
is
flux capacitor?
basically that's what it
Wow.
is. It's that B stock IOXS cat bank. And when this came in, dude, I was expecting, because I've used capacitors a bunch, like the Maxwell caps, and
Yeah.
those things are light. They're not super dense. This feels like a Group 31 battery.
That's heavy.
It's heavy, yeah.
That's crazy. Now, what are some of the specs on that now?
This one, and it doesn't even say. I don't even know how high I can charge this. I can't find any information about that. So I need to contact Excess Power because I know they have something to do with these.
I think you could charge whatever on capacitors. I know they're a lot more flexible on voltage compared to batteries and lithium and all that other kind of stuff. Because that's just static electricity, really, at the end of the day, capacitors, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's, I'm sure it's like a smart battery situation. But I think that, a capacitor in line with a battery for my test bank is really I think that it's going to help my voltage. But we'll see. I actually want to do a test with just the power supply with just this. The power supply with just the battery. The power supply with a battery and this. And maybe I'll do like the power supply with a battery and this, a Group 31 battery AGM, or a power supply with a bank of 16 amp hour headway with this.
Right. Show the difference. I would do it on 1 amp that's going to pull a lot of power and then just, boom. Each.
Oh, I've got a 10 amps here.
Oh, you said I got some inefficiency. No, I'm just kidding. 10 amps, they're pretty efficient.
yeah, but they draw, dude. They draw some. I think this is the MD 1800, and
that's still big. Yeah,
that Joker's still. I mean, it'll pull over 200 amps easy.
All day.
Yeah. And Matt, he's kind of our expert here. He does a lot of this stuff. So.
Absolutely. Getting into car audio, at least when I did, that was the thing. Like, run a capacitor, and then they didn't really say much about a second battery, but, I remember them saying about it. That's why I kind of had the idea, I'll just put a regular car battery back here and skip the capacitor. But, in reality, you're doing the same thing. You're going to have your capacitor, and then your battery, and then your power supply. And that's where it's going to take that instant draw, because that's what capacitors do. They discharge and recharge instantaneously. And that's why it's that static electricity. There's barely any resistance between the battery itself. And that's why it's able to discharge so quickly, but it can't hold much. That's the whole thing. But you got a 70-pound capacitor. I'm sure that could hold a lot more than your little 1 farad from Rockford Fosgate. Right.
And I used to test the amps with just one bank of Maxwell caps, 6 of them. And that's like whatever 2,000 farads or whatever it ended up being after you series them. But it would test like 1,000-watt amps, no problem.
Wow.
With no charger on it. So,
see, I feel like a lot of that was just maybe no charger, no power supply, just the batteries. Wow, that's pretty good. And I'm sure it could go for maybe like a minute and then it was dead.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
You'd have to charge between each run, but it would do it and it would keep voltage.
Wow, that's awesome. So you're doing this so you can clamp pretty much more than 1,000 watts on your power supply test bench.
Right. And I've been doing that anyways because I run a battery bank. I had 3 Group 31s and then an H8 that I put underneath, and they were all AGM. So I was using that in line with a Coast Cell power supply that could only go up to 14.6 volts, but now I'm switched to a Power Max that only does 100 volts or 100 amps draw, but I can go up to 16 volts. So I can play with lithium now.
Absolutely. You want to be able to charge that lithium too, because you can't charge a lithium bank of what you're going to be wiring at 14.6 volts. You're never going to get a full % charge to the batteries.
Right. And HifiVega asked, AGM batteries or lithium? I think I've used AGM for a long time. They're great. They last a long time. But I think if you're going to spend the money now and you're not just collecting or using what you got, I would consider lithium.
Absolutely. It does come down to the money factor with how much you want to put into your system, and another thing of how much weight and space you want to give up too. AGM is cheaper, but not in the long term, because if you have as much power available to be drawn and discharged, not even discharged, because when you come down to that, lithium's going to win. But at the end of the day, for like just, me and your kind of setup, what's going to do better, the one lithium compared to 3 batteries is going to be around the same, but the lithium is going to be a tad cheaper, but it's going to be more upfront initial cost. Now, if you're going to go buy 3 AGM batteries, you might as well go buy lithium. But if you want to be a little bit safer and, you're not too, keen on lithium and what kind of lithium to buy and is it safe and all this other stuff. And if you live in Canada and it's like negative 20 degrees, maybe I shouldn't buy lithium. But there's always that. So AGM is going to win with that cold weather for sure. But doesn't mean lithium can't get cold either.
Oh yeah, especially if you get one of those newer underhood batteries that they make, the insulated ones. Those will help. And I'm telling you, man, factory like GM and stuff, they're going to start using lithium in their cars. It's just a matter of time as their main starting battery. They just got it. They're not fast movers. They're not going to jump on brand new technology. They're going to wait till it's proven out, and then they'll start to go into it. But definitely,
Absolutely.
like, 3 AGMs is going to cost you a minimum. If you buy the cheapest ones, like the ones you get at Walmart, it's about $200 each, or the Duralast or whatever. That's $600. You get a lithium battery for that much. And although AGM will last a long time, AGM can last sometimes up to 6, 7, 8 years if you take care of it. But a lithium battery is going to last a lot longer than that.
8 to 10 solid. That's what the brochure says. I don't know yet. I've only had mine for a little over a year and a half, so. But I haven't seen any voltage drop, and I've used them quite enough to, pull some reserve out of them. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, Andy, for sure, man. I'm not even close, but I'm trying.
You're catching up to me. I just got my hair cut today, though. This thing was turning aphrodisiac today, man. I'm like, no way. I'm going live. This hair got to be a little shorter. Kayla cuts my hair. She does a great job. What do you think?
Oh, she does. You should put a little fade on there too.
Oh, you know it.
Oh, dude, keeping it tight.
Pretty soon she's gonna start etching like Kicker in the back. No.
Oh, there you go. Or the mule. If she's really good, she can do the mule.
The mule. Absolutely.
Let's see. We had some good questions here. Let me get to them. How do you feel about 80 amp hour of yin long and adding a bank of caps for burps to keep voltage? I'm assuming, the caps can hold that same voltage. I don't know if this one can, but regular like Maxwell caps, as long as you get the 2.95 volt, the newer ones, or the 2.8s. The originals were like 2.6s, so those you would have to do like a 6 series setup. Or
you'd be way too high then.
Yeah, yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, when you say burping and keep your high voltage, now, are you burping with your car off? Because 90% of your power is going to be coming from your alternator. And then once you pull as much power your alternator can do, that's where your lithium and your capacitors are going to pick up. But then once they're not getting power input, their voltage is going to drop. That's just how it works. So you got to look at input power and then output power. To have a perfect system, you want to have as much input as you have output. That's why you see guys, they got 4, almost 5 alternators on one pulley system, and it's insane. But it's like they need it. They need it.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep that voltage.
Sean's got 2 AGM and one of the IXS cat banks and a JS390. Voltage stays rock solid on 2 Sundown SA, a 3500 and an Alpine. Wow. Pretty solid.
Nice. 2 AGM JS.
Oh,
is that an alternator 390?
Yeah. JS alternators. They're kind of, I wouldn't say they're car audio focused. They're more like off road and like racing focused in their advertisements and stuff. So you don't hear a lot about them in car audio.
They're for light alternators, light batteries, maybe for racing. That's what you need.
Oh, here's a good one. This was the one I was looking for. It says, if your system's not huge, 1,000 watts, is it better to have a larger battery up front in the vehicle if you can take it, or having one in the rear?
I know the answer to this. You got an idea
go ahead.
on it?
Go ahead.
My answer, you want to have the battery closest to the amplifier, one, because you're going to have, that's where most of the power is going to be pulling. Otherwise, you're going to be popping fuses because you're going to have a big run going to that battery, and that's what the bulk of the power is going to be coming from first, and then your alternator is going to be charging that battery. I've seen a lot of people, they'll have a battery up front, got the long run going front to back, then their amp, and they're wondering why they're blowing fuses, and it's because they're pulling around the current of the fuse over a long run. Now they go and take that front battery out. Let's just take it out of the car and put it in the back of the car. Put that battery back in the back, and then delete the one in the front, and then have your fuse like you normally would. The battery's going to be taking up most of the abuse and then you won't be popping fuses because it's just then from the battery in the back to the alternator up front, you can have your fuse in the front of your car because that's where you don't want the fire to start from there and go back. You don't have your fuse in the back of the car. It ain't going to do nothing for you. And that fuse will not pop because all the current is being pulled from that battery first, and then the alternator is charging what it can. That's what I tell people to do. You know, it's like, hey, if you don't have money for an extra battery, take it out of the front of the car. Put a little distributor block. Put it in the back. If you really want to keep it safe and be super budget, you can do it. But I don't suggest it. Add another battery.
Yeah. What I would say, like on a 1,000-watt system, I just put, since that's such low power, I just buy like a good excess power AGM and put it up front, like a factory replacement. It's going to perform way better than what you're getting from the factory. Now, if you're running 3,000 watts and you're trying to like get away with your stock charging, you definitely got to move that battery. I totally agree.
Absolutely. Yeah, 1,000 watts. I mean, that could be, what is it, 1,000 Rockford Fosgate watts, Boss watts. There's a difference, you know. But absolutely. I mean, I've had a system for probably majority of my life, more than I have had a larger system. I've had a smaller system, and I only had pretty much one battery for most of that, you know, and it was about 1,000-watt system, and it was nice, and I didn't have problems with it. So you should be okay.
Yeah, I think so too. So running about 5,000 watts, how big of a lithium to buy? So we need to know stock alternator. What's your situation? Because some cars have like a 80 amp stock alternator, and some cars like the Suburban had stock 145 amp, and some of them even nowadays have 180 amp. So that's going to dictate like what lithium you need.
Right. Yeah. It depends on the lithium you're trying to buy too, because lithium's broad. It's like, what kind of subwoofer should I buy for this box? You know, you kind of got to figure out the best one for your situation. I've heard from the excess power show they did on Kicker, 2 weeks ago? Not even. They were saying that, you know, you could run this one Titan in the back or in the front of your car and you're good for 5,000 watts. And I know how companies might come off, say, oh, it's good for 5,000, but can it do it 5,000 continuous? Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. But it depends what you feel comfortable with voltage-wise and how much damage you could be doing on your electrical system, your components, your amplifiers, and stuff like that.
The one thing that a lithium will do that's cool is you can cheat the system with a lithium battery. So you can have a stock alternator and like say a 3,000 watt amp and say the JY power, which is the 40 amp, the HP 40 is the ones you have.
Yeah.
You could probably have that as your only battery in the system with your stock alternator and get away with like 3,000 watts or so. But there is always a point where that alternator depending on how crazy you want to get. If your alternator's not beefy enough from the factory, you're going to have to end up changing it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Man, I got something in my throat. But yeah, for real, the lithium, you can get away with a lot less just because they're stronger batteries and they can take that power. They can take 100% of what your alternator's throwing you. That's the whole point of a lithium. It can take 100% of its C rating, or however it's rated as 40 amp hours and whatever. It can take the full 100% rating compared to an AGM battery that it can only take 10 to maybe 30% of its amp hour rating intake to get charged. And that's why they take so long to charge. So whenever you're demoing for a long time and you got AGM, your batteries are just slowly getting tireder and tireder because your alternator, yeah, it's working full tilt, but the batteries aren't taking it full tilt, and that's the whole thing. Where the lithium, it'll take more from that stock alternator because it's going to take it all compared to the regular wet cell AGM battery.
Yeah, for sure. Quick charge, quick discharge. That's what it's all about with lithium.
Absolutely.
We talk about best practices for charging. What do you do? See, I don't run lithium. I run AGM second battery. I've never run lithium in vehicle. So what do you do?
Right. I was real hesitant whenever I first got it, and I was talking to Hunter and Travis about it with the JY. I was nervous, because I'm like, I don't want to mess this up. And I did some researching on my own, and I found out a lot of things about the lithium where I have people asking me, and I'm happy I know to tell them, where you don't really have to charge it. As long as it's around 30 to 50% state of charge, and you have it sitting on a shelf, it's going to last longer that way than if you would keep it topped off, say 13.4 volts, 3.4 volts, or 3.2 volts per cell, whatever the lithium you have, and you keep it 100% charged, like you would an AGM or wet cell, you know? And that's what those batteries like, because if they don't, they start to desulfate, voltage starts to drop, they can go kapooey on you. You'll wonder why you have a dead cell. Lithium, it's not really the same way. So whenever you want to charge it, I would charge it for when you're about to use the car. Say if the car's been sitting for like a week or two, you go check out your voltage, see how it's looking. If it's dropping a lot, put her on a charge. It's not going to kill it. But the whole point is you don't want to keep lithium on a trickle charge or just 100% state of charge 24/7, because what happens is you actually are keeping the cells inside the lithium excited at 100% full tilt boogie, and what happens is they just get tired quicker over time. So say if your lithium battery should last you 8 to 10 years, you keep that on a charger, it's going to last half that, because you're almost tiring out the cells before you even get to use them. Now, I'm not saying don't charge your lithium, because if you go down to like 0%, yes, you can, or, 0% of the state of charge, then you can have some damage just like any battery. But it's a little bit different with the charging. Now, say if you got AGM, wet cell, regular car battery. Yeah, and if you're not going to drive it, definitely charge it. Keep it on a charger. The smart chargers are great. They have them at Walmart for like $80 or even cheaper. The DeWalt, Stanley, stuff like that. Once the voltage starts to drop, the charger ticks on, it gives a little bit of charge, gives a little bit of float, stuff like that. They do have lithium chargers. Now, hear me out. They have lithium chargers for lithium batteries, but what they do almost the same thing your phone does. When your phone charges, it goes up to 100% and then drops down to 99%, and then it starts charging again. It does that throughout the night when you're not paying attention. Now, the same thing with the lithium-ion batteries. They do the same thing. They don't stay at that 100%. They go down, they go up, whatever. Stuff like that. I know like the tip of the iceberg with lithium, but I know enough to feel comfortable to charge it, let my system sit. Voltage starts to drop, even on my test bench. I just put the JYHP40 on the test bench, and it's like, still sitting at 13.2, and that's perfect because that's 30% state of charge. 13.4 is 100%. So what I do sometimes, I just, drain it a little bit, get it down to 13.3. Yeah, it's good. I don't want to keep it at 100%. Just,
it's like back in the day with your cell phones or anything that had a lithium battery. You didn't want to opportunity charge it, because the battery would, back in the day, this doesn't happen now, but it would hold memory, and then you would get shorter battery life, and it'd be a big issue. But nowadays, like on lithium, you really don't. You can opportunity charge them well, but you don't need to keep them charged all the time. Just charge it when you need it. Charge it with the alternator, or if you're using it over the winter, charge it once, let it discharge quite a ways down, charge it again.
Absolutely.
Just
That's funny you bring those older batteries up. They're not the nickel batteries or the NIMH batteries, but I think it was the clad batteries that had the memory cell problems, where if you charge it halfway and then you use it and then that's all you got the next time, you got a 50% battery. It's like, where'd the other 50% go? And it's just because you didn't charge it right.
Right. Well, and then, even at work, like we make forklift batteries is one of the type of batteries we make besides the network. We were selling to a company that drove forklifts, and they opportunity charged all their stuff. So every time they got a chance, they would throw it on the charger. Well, our batteries aren't built to work like that, but the salespeople were selling them these batteries because they wanted this battery. We had the price they wanted, and they were going to sell it. And it was just warranty returns, because they were basically ruining the batteries. And there's points where, like, this is not the situation for you. We shouldn't have sold them that battery. But, a salesman's going to do what a salesman's going to do. And they'll let everybody else just deal with the repercussions of it.
Hey, you're still getting paid at the end, but how far can you go with that,
Right, exactly. And how bad does it look when your stuff keeps breaking because it's not proper?
Yeah. What's up, Scott? Thanks for tuning in, buddy.
It's popping. What's the best 212? Oh, okay. So he's talking about, the stuff is subjective in your application. Yeah, when you're asking a question, there is so many variables to that question that sometimes it's hard to answer. Like when you said lithium's so different, this headway cell can discharge at 8C. That bank of SPIMs back there, whatever they call them, can discharge at 40C. That is that's like a whole different ballpark.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely. I know. I was just looking for vape batteries for myself and Kayla, and you kind of have to look at the discharge rates, because if you just look up the mAh, the milliamp hours, and it's like,
yeah,
well, I want the most so my battery lasts. Well, you can get that, and then guess what? If your vape, you're pulling 25 amps, you're gonna do damage to a battery that's only continuous for 10 or max at 10 amps. Yeah, I can do it. But you're causing damage. You're going to make it heat up, and when things get hot, things don't last as long. You run your car with no coolant, it gets hot, it's not going to last as long. Your
right.
gaskets are going. That's
Yeah.
just how things work.
It's like driving to work in first gear.
You could do
Yeah,
it.
you can get to work in first gear, but it's how long is it going to last?
I think that's just a Honda thing. You keep it in first, you
Yeah.
tack it, ding, 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 ding,
Oh
ding.
yeah, didn't
Good,
gotta have the can popping. I like this. Rick Moran says $700 Titanate or rent.
right?
I mean, can you live in
Absolutely.
your vehicle? That's the question.
You could just wait for another check from you. Well, I got mine from a Trump check. There's Biden checks come out too. That's
Yeah.
that's how you get away with it with the wifey. It's like, well,
Oh,
listen.
and yeah, see, some people are getting the monthly checks for kids, but my kids are too old, so
I like
it's
that. But it takes it out from what you get back at
right.
the end of the year. But it's like
That's what I heard.
it is smarter. I'll give them that. I'll give the government that. It's like, okay, at least let's spread it out so they can't go and buy an Escalade for $5,000. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah, for sure. And
no,
Kayla
no.
charges for the haircut.
That's funny you bring that up, because I was like, joking around, asking like, do you take debit or credit? She's like, I take your your Target charge card. I'm like,
Oh,
ain't no
dude,
lie.
Target too. But like, you could get the Walmart card. You're not getting the Target.
Well, the nice thing about Target, I had Walmart. The nice thing about Target, they got Starbucks right in there, so it's a win-win for her. It's like you
Yeah.
only need one card.
So John, he has the 180 amp stock alt upgraded battery up front, no issues at all, 2400 watts. And being this is something I wonder in SQ. So I don't know if you've been to many SQ shows or ones that do both, but a lot of people use chargers like power supplies.
Yes, yeah, because they don't want their car running.
They don't want their car running because the noise. I'm wondering how long it's going to be before these guys start using lithium, so they don't have to plug in and they can demo all day. I think it's kind of the future, but I don't know because I didn't see any. So
Right, because the higher voltage, and it's just going to last longer. Instead of having 10 AGMs in your car, you could have two little JYs or two lithiums of that size, taken up, and they're super light, right, like you're saying, and then you don't even have to run your car. Because SQ, you can't have your car running, that's points going right off you. They don't want to hear that,
exactly.
1,000 RPM, 50 hertz, whatever. They don't want to hear that. I know those things are pretty cool. I tried kickers once, because whenever I went to Slam and I was parked at a tent, they're like, "Here, just hook us up to your car, and you don't even need to run your engine." I'm like, "Really?" So I hooked it up, and it was okay. Voltage was dropping. It was like 100 or
Right.
120 amps. Wasn't quite enough, but man, when I turned my
No.
car on and had that running, let me tell you, and I had a stock alternator at the time. I'm like, "Oh yeah, look at that 14s all day, man. This is nice."
That's how you do it, man. They're cool for low amperage like SQ systems, but
Right.
you're not going to do it on the big boys. Yeah,
No.
it's just not going to hold up. No, man, no Sonic Cut today. I got a
Oh, he's
kicker
got the kicker koozie.
foamy with the Dr Pepper Cherry Zero. Not
Nice.
bad, not bad. Hard to find.
I love Sonic, man. They finally put one. Well, it was probably about 10 years ago. Now I'm getting old. They put
Yeah,
a Sonic up here, because they're usually down south, down by you
right.
guys. I thought they were so cool, because it's like, man, they're coming out on roller skates and everything. I used to work there. I was like, man,
Right.
I want to work here. This is a pretty cool job. I did. It was one of the most fun jobs I had. Like getting
Yeah.
paid to rollerblade. It was
That
cool.
is cool. My dot like I don't know what it is about my wife and her family. They've all worked at Sonic. My wife hasn't though, but the tradition skipped her and went. My daughter worked there. My wife's mom worked there. Her sister worked there. My wife's brother and sister-in-law, they live in Pine Grove. This is just outside of like Allentown, Pennsylvania,
Yeah,
and so there's no Sonics in that area. They have to drive like 2 hours. So when they come down here, man, they hit the Sonic up like every day.
it's awesome. They're a little pricier, but I mean,
Yeah.
chili cheese tots, man. Chili
Yeah,
cheese
you can't
dog.
beat it, man.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you can't beat it. Let me see what we got going on here.
Yeah, I feel like we covered a lot of things I wanted to talk about with the
Yeah, I'm trying
lithium, with
to.
the
I'm so
charging.
far behind in the thing. Oh, here you go. Dean hit. That's the question. Yeah, that's the like, dude. I don't know. It's just also. Do you have where people comment and act like you're an expert? Like, yo, I'm not an expert on this on this subject.
Right. It's like I'm just giving you my opinion and what I
Yeah.
think would work the best with whatever, you know?
And often in my videos, like you're learning with me. Like
Yeah.
when I'm doing something, we're learning together. So I'll tell you my experience, but I'm definitely don't take it always as expert advice.
Not at all. Yeah, the best 6.5. I don't know. I mean,
He's like, David,
what's
what's
up,
popping,
David?
man?
Thanks for tuning in, buddy.
I'm
Man,
rebuilding the truck all XS. Oh, dude, I want a Titanate under the hood in the Trooper. Oh
I'm
no!
here. Don't worry. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Oh no! He
I'm
died,
coming.
y'all. He died.
It's that ZV1 life, man. You get 40 minutes out of it. It's done. It's done.
What they said? I was watching some videos because I almost bought a ZV1. They said you can charge it with one of those USB ports, so you don't even need the dummy battery.
Oh wait, you can use. Yeah, well, to do that, you'd have to set it up though, because you have to turn it on, and then you have to turn on the streaming button before you plug it in. So I don't know if there's a way around that. You could probably do it, but it just gets hot, man. Like I'm feeling it. It's warm, but it's not like it's like cooking or something. But it just starts glitching, and I don't get it. I like the GoPro, you know, it works, but I really love that ZV1. It's, you know.
Yeah, the ZV1's nice. I think if you get the power supply battery like mine, that's what I use the whole time on this Canon M200, and it's I mean, it's cold. It's not hot at all, but I think that's kind of a Sony thing anyways with overheating, but it just plugs in, man. It's super easy. They're like $20 or $30.
I know. Listen, I have it all, and it just acts up. It's like I got to have the air conditioner. I got to have it 63 degrees in here. Then it'll work for 3 hours, which doesn't make sense. Yeah, I got the dummy battery in here. I got a fan.
Oh,
you heard it
earlier.
Still
doesn't, even though you got the dummy battery?
Yes. It's
That's what the fan was? Like, dude, when Andy joined, I'm not lying, man. It sounded like a tornado. I was like, yo, what's going on, dude? Like, he's like, how's it this? And I said, what's your mic? Mute the mic, and I can still hear you. And this dude has a fan blowing on that Sony camera. and it is like, and it still overheats. Yeah. I'm kind of glad I didn't buy one because of that.
Right. Well, I didn't know about that either. Kayla did her research, and she really wanted the ZV1 because it is known as like, you know, the number one, you know, vlogging camera, and it has its you know, strong points. But the streaming, it's terrible. It's just bad, and I think it was an overlook. You know what I mean?
The
it's
M200. That's the one I would recommend because it's got the eye autofocus as well. The cool thing about the ZV, we're getting into camera talk here. Sorry, guys, but the cool thing about the ZV1, this is YouTubers. We love cameras. We love camera gear. We love audio gear. But the ZV1 does 4K with no extra crop, and it retains the eye autofocus and the main autofocus. This M200 does 4K only at 24 frames a second. And then when you do that, you get an additional 1.6 times crop, and you lose the eye and the dual pixel autofocus. So it goes back to like contrast-based focus.
Yeah.
So it's
That's still not bad,
it's useless. It's like useless in 4K. But 1080, perfect.
Yeah, I just used the 1080 for this. I thought that was making it overheat. I tried cranking everything down on the camera, but I just think it's got a death date. You know what I mean? It's just 40 minutes.
Put it in like some kind of like an ice
freezer.
Box
yeah, put it in the freezer. Hold on, babe. I gotta go live tonight. Why is that in the freezer?
For sure. Best thing you can do is buy a big. Yeah, man. 15. Like I recommend anybody. Like if you're doing over 500 watts, I would say do a big 3 of some sort. Even if it's a 4 gauge, a small one. If you're doing 1500 watts, for sure you need a 1/0 big 3. No question.
Absolutely, because you never know what you're going to actually get in a stock big 3 or just alternator wire going to your battery, you don't know what you're going to get. Some cars, they have some dinky 10 gauge. Some have those linkable fuses where they're like in line with it, and that's just slowing some current that could be going to your battery, because they don't when car companies design amplifiers, alternators, they don't have, okay, well, this guy's going to be running a Teraamp 3K in the back of this thing, so we got to make sure that every other car in the world is ready for that. So they plan it with just what you have. So I mean,
they don't expect you not to upgrade anything.
No, not at all. I know that was one of the, like, even whenever I got a custom box, when I got the big 3 put in, that's when I actually noticed a big difference. Stock alternator, and I was only clamping about 500-600 watts clamped, like 1,000 RMS setup. And that's when I noticed a difference. And it was probably only 150-200 watts, but the big 3 matters.
Oh yeah, definitely, it helps. It's not like the old sign, Best Buy, your headlights are dimming, bust a cap on it, it's not going to solve everything, but
no, they still going to dim. They still going to dim, bro.
It's one part of a system. It's one part of a system. You need to do several different steps, and it's just the first step. It's the most budget friendly step.
Absolutely.
Bird, appreciate it, bro.
Heck yeah. I think the only thing hard about it for the big 3 is depending on the vehicle where your alternator is. The Eclipse, super easy, right on top on the left. Volvo, same deal. Now the Geo, that's way underneath. You got to take like the wheel off, and it's a pain in the butt just to get to it. Letting the stud is on the inside towards the engine, so it's not even on the outside. So you're like reaching like way back there up underneath trying to get stuff in there. No bueno. So I think that's a main deter for big 3s. Other than that, you got to do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can definitely have some situations where it's buried, and I've done one for a guy named Kevin that's semi-local to me. Met him at the SQ finals, and we done a custom kit. Dude, it was like, I think he needed like 2 foot for power, 2 foot for ground, and 2 foot for a ground strap. So I was like, dude, that's easy peasy. 6 foot of wire, it's gonna be nothing.
Right. Absolutely.
What battery company? So I work for Exide, which is now called Triton. We used to make GMB batteries, but Exide batteries. We don't make any automotive. Right.
Yeah, I remember those batteries. Wait, didn't they make automotive though, or I thought they did?
They still do. Yeah, they still make. We just don't make them in our plant.
Gotcha.
We only do big stuff.
Oh, how big? Like
network power. So
wired
like
in series.
The cell towers. Yeah. Oh yeah. We make. I think the average is like 36 to 48 volt cells. It's all 2 volt cells, just like any other battery.
Yeah.
And then wire them however how you want. But we do forklift batteries, which are some of the smaller ones. We do some super old school, like flooded cells. Matter of fact, I mean, it's like they require care, but we have a spiral cell battery pack that's set up for our charging stations and all that. That's been in there since like 1978 in use this whole time.
Woo!
So this is like 40-something years old. There's like some of the oldest batteries we've ever made, and they're still in use.
Is it because they made things better then, or was it because you can actually like give them a bunch of juice and almost burn off all the saw or what in the battery that causes where it doesn't work anymore? That stuff, like you can almost repair it.
It's kind of like it's a mix of the two. So definitely the stuff we make now, we make some really high end stuff. But we also, you have to go to the market. So we also make stuff that's like a 3-year battery. Most of our batteries, minimum, were 10-year, 15-year, and 25-year batteries. Woo. And they would warranty, like, the warranty dissipates over time. But some of the flooded batteries, like the Navy batteries that we make, those are super high quality batteries. The cheaper ones, they're a 1-year full replacement warranty, 3 years, but they're huge batteries. You're talking like, I want to say like some of them were like 20,000 amp hours even up into that. So yeah,
don't even need to charge all day. You'll be good.
Yeah, they're pretty serious. But this is literally as big as your car almost. So
wow, that's nuts. I mean, I believe it. That's like industry size stuff. I know I had a lot of batteries handed to me. I just pretty much resold for my buddy Anthony. And they were just, power supply backup batteries, UPS batteries. And they were old, you know what I mean? But they were just topped off and, used for if the power went out, and that was about it. So you can get a little bit of life out of them afterwards. So, but
Yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
hey, as long as they're still charging and or somewhat at capacity, they're still good to use.
Right. Yeah, I didn't put no 500 amp load on them or anything, but I had one fail on me. The other ones seemed to do pretty good. I haven't heard any other complaints from because I had like 60 of them. I sold them
Oh
all,
yeah,
man. I was
yeah,
selling them for $50 a pop. You couldn't pass it up. People were driving 2 hours away. Oh yeah, man. It's like,
yeah.
well, it sits at 13. It should be fine. You know.
Right.
I just had one go on me, but I think I was just clipping voltage too much. It's just too much going on. I had stock alt back then too, so no,
Yeah.
no bueno, no bueno.
Why not the big four? So I've restructured, and I just put a video out today talking about the way I've redone the big three kits. So I'm like every sale I have, and from the beginning to the end, I'm learning what people want and what they don't want, and I'm trying to change, what I'm offering based on that, because the people will tell you what they want. You'll know by what they purchase, what they don't purchase.
Right.
So I restructured it, and now I have a kit where it's just like an add-on 2 foot ground strap that can get you your big four, or it can be an extended
Oh.
big three. Some people like to do their big three to run the alt bracket ground and the power all the way to the battery. So if you want to do it like that, the extra ground strap would just be a part of your big three, and you'd have 5 foot for each.
Oh wow.
Now, a big four is basically just one more extra ground.
Right.
The reason that people do like as many grounds as you can do. If you're grounding to the chassis, if you're grounding to the frame, the body, grounds are going to help you a lot because you're flowing that current back through. So you can actually ground your alternator chassis, not the chassis itself,
Yep.
if you
That's
want.
that's funny. I have the big four too on the Cookie Monster. I literally do for the alternator bracket ground going to the frame of the car,
Yeah,
unibody for the Eclipse. But I kind of felt it was unnecessary. But it's like it's not going to hurt you,
right,
So if you feel more comfortable doing it, and who knows what the electricity path it's going to take. It's going to take the one with least resistance, and maybe adding that helps a different portion of your car. Maybe not so much the amplifier, but maybe your alternator at the end of the day. Because that's got to be, grounded as well, because it's grounded to the frame, the engine, right? Your
right,
alternator's all
yeah,
together, and that's the engine. You're almost making your engine ground bigger, in a sense, by doing
right.
that.
And the way I like to do it is like I like to ground the, and some, I guess mine would be considered a big four too, because I did ground my engine block to the body. But the difference in mine is regularly I like to go the alternator chassis bracket to the battery, and then the power to the battery, and then I like to ground the battery itself to the body or to the frame, whichever's closest. Often there's like a factory ground spot, and if it's beefy enough, I use it.
So that's like the big five almost there.
Something like that. Yeah, yeah,
I can't. What's the big five? I need
yeah.
that.
Marketing. That's what it is. We're watching the King Richard. I think that's what it's called. Will Smith movie about Venus and Serena Williams.
I never seen that yet.
It's pretty good. Yeah, King Richard there. TV. He was on it. He was on point.
D4L. I didn't even see you was in the chat. What's going on, buddy? I
Yeah.
don't have the chat pulled up.
Yeah, I have it pulled up in two screens just so
There
because
you
I
go.
like to hold it. I like to do the kip, and I've been doing this forever. I like to hold the comments up here, and then on the right, I have where I can see the current comments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me
Absolutely.
see.
Oh,
Do you
here.
have an answer for that?
I wanna share you a screen real fast. Can I share a
Yeah,
screen
yeah,
here?
share it, man.
This is just that website that I want you to leave in the description about batteries and charging them and stuff like that. Let's see, right here, this guy. Sorry, it's the first time me doing it on someone else's. There we go. Whoa,
Yeah,
it's
let's
like
pop her up.
tweaking out. Is it tweaking out on your end?
Yeah, yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Let
That's
me
weird.
remove and try to. All right,
Yeah, it's
it's
still
still
it's like
doing it,
it's tweaking on my end here. What the
dude. What's
heck?
going on?
I don't know, man. It looks clear over here. Shoot.
Yeah, it's always something, man.
You're telling me. It's all good.
Drop
But
it.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, wait, I can put it in there. Headed it for a business call. Will the show be on a week? Oh no. This is just a one-off. It like the 13.8 AV talk 8-volt talk was just kind of a play, messing around with the 14.4 guys. I had to do it.
Absolutely. We out here running Buicks.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the website right here. Can I control this? Oh, look at that. I can control that. Awesome. But yeah, this is the sort of Solar City Incorporate. Now, this
Right.
is a website where I don't think they're from this country at all. But they are very knowledgeable on lithium batteries. And if you read this, it's a read. I was going to do a video about it, and I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like stealing someone else's content, but it's really good stuff. And it literally goes over like the difference between lithium, lead acids, all that kind of stuff, how they work in different conditions, you name it. BMS is how everything works. Like it literally shows jump starting, balance, like some of the zeros and ones, shows you how the lithium iron phosphate battery works, what it's consists of, the carbon, iron phosphate, lithium, PE, all that stuff. Shows you the low whatever the battery voltages, etc. And then just how they're put together. See, that's just a 18650 lithium ion. That's different than lithium iron phosphate. But yeah, definitely got to check this website out. And it even shows you, look, state of charge, and that's for like the lithium iron phosphate of what you kind of want to keep your battery at, 13.2 volts, 13 volts. That's it for like those JYHP 40s, the headways. If you run them in, I think it's series 4 for those, or maybe 5, I forget which. But either way, you get an idea on that. I just thought that was really cool. If you guys want to check it out, I'll send it to Rob. He'll leave a description on this video so you guys can check it out. It's really good.
You should definitely do that video and then just link just cite it as a source, because people, like, nobody's going to read that. Actually, a lot of people will read it. People in the chat will definitely read it, but most people that just watch on YouTube, like, the first thing they see is a YouTube result. They're not going to go to the website.
No, not at all. That's why I was going to do it. I had it like 30
that's kind
minutes,
of me, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You should do it. You should do it, man. It's good stuff. It's good stuff,
dude. You probably have way less time than me, but I'm so, you just plan these videos out. Like I've got so much stuff that I've been meaning to do forever that,
that's good though, because you don't want to run out of content as being a YouTuber or anything for any kind of social platform. You don't want to run out, and you want to be ahead of the curve.
How's TikTok going, man? You were killing it over there before.
It's going good. I got demonetized. I can't make no money now. You're telling me, dude. I made $43.
What'd you do?
Okay, I posted videos with the one was kind of, I understood, but it was kind of stupid. It was these guys spraying up a speaker. I got it off Facebook. These guys were spraying up a speaker with, hairspray, and they lit it on fire. And it was pretty cool because I slowed it down, had Believe I Can Fly going in the background. And of course, they struck me for that. But it was just other stuff where, like, my buddy was jamming in the back seat of his car, and I made it like, it's all about bass. It's not how loud you are. And he literally flagged me because he had a little marijuana plant on his darn shirt. And I'm like,
dude,
are you kidding me? I'll send you screenshots of all my community standards. It's stupid. So I can't make any money until literally 4/20, April 20th. I can't make any.
That's so troll. That is the biggest troll move ever. They're like, oh, you want to play with Polys? Like, we're going to get you, bro.
Yeah. So I kind of laid back off on it for a while, but it's like, the YouTube's picking up, and I'd rather, focus there and just have fun, and then maybe we'll see down the road. But I mean, TikTok, it's a family app. It's a different kind of platform, and people are there to have fun. I do enjoy doing their lives though, because I get more of a fan base that's beginner. It's more widespread compared to like a YouTube algorithm of how people see our lives and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to do some TikTok only stuff focused on TikTok, and I finally had like my first video that got over 6,000 views, so
nice.
That's good. So I'm trying to do something over there. We'll see.
it's tough. You got to put literally clickbaity stuff, real funny.
Yeah.
Just that's why like I got kind of community standards. I'm like trying to put like little edgy stuff on there, but
Yeah.
not too edgy. I've good beliefs and
I've
background.
seen some
Come on.
very not family safe stuff. Like I guess all the sexy stuff is cool.
Right, it's totally fine. Totally
But
fine.
yeah. Which I mean, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't offend me. But if you're choosing, you know, pot leaf or this,
I thought it was kind of. I was just like looking at it, like, what are you kidding? Ah,
yeah,
damn it! Are you
got him,
kidding me? Are you
got
kidding
him.
me? So I put
So,
another one up, and then
but
covered it, and it worked. I'm like, okay, that was it.
but before we
Oh,
log off, I wanna pimp something here. If you guys haven't checked it out, Living Loud with Andy, you can become an official patron for $1 a month. That's not bad. Or you could be like me and get the extra winks for $5 a month.
definitely want the extra winks.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
if you want the live streams, you got to go 25, man. So
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that. I threw it on there. I was like, maybe if someone actually does that, but that's a lot of money. I'm not asking for that much money from someone.
no,
That's crazy. But hey,
no,
maybe
just
if I
get the
start
dollar.
blowing, yeah,
Do the
absolutely. That's why I
dollar.
threw it on there. I'm like, if
Yeah,
99 cents, a dollar. I mean, it's understandable. If it's more, you really like me, and I appreciate you for that.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Definitely, you guys check it out. If you're not, hit them up.
Appreciate that, Rob. And yeah, we had fun on the show tonight. I was surprised we pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about and had a
Yeah,
few good comments from people in the chat. And hopefully we answered everyone's questions for tonight.
yeah, and because I had no topics at all, so
And
you
I'm
got it
always
covered.
thinking of something, it's like,
Yeah, so you had it covered, and I was like, yes, man, yes. Um, yeah, 5 star. Me and Dean tomorrow. We're gonna talk about his rock talk, and then we're gonna talk about a movie, and I'm gonna tease you guys. Fro's house, who was in the chat earlier. I didn't get to shout him out, but Fro's house. We were talking about fruitcake. Where do you land on fruitcake, Andy? Before we leave,
fruitcake, not really a big fan about it. I've tried it, I think, once. I'm not a big fan on it.
the, I'm the same way. So Fro was like, "Nick, this can't stand. I'm getting you like a good fruitcake. I'm sending it to you, and I've got a fruitcake. I'm gonna eat it live on Sijag tomorrow night. We're gonna try it out, see if this is beat my expectations or not. So
Absolutely. Yeah,
I'm
I'm not a
gonna
big fan on it at all.
I'm gonna try Fro's fruitcake. So
Frozen
that should be
fruitcake.
fun. Yeah.
This is
And
Smokey,
listen,
by the way. Say hi.
oh the cat. What's up?
He
Oh
sneaks in.
man,
I got this whole room blocked off. He still sneaks in here. I hate it.
he crawls under the door.
Yeah, literally.
So I think everybody like we're split, man. We're split with fruitcake and yeah. Some like it, some hate it. We'll
I'm
see.
sure if I tried it again recently, your taste buds change every 7 years. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's always that. I'm eating stuff I never would have thought I would have as a kid or even as a teen. So I might have to try
Right.
it again.
Well, I will say before we sign off, 13th of December, 12 days of streaming. It's back. We're going to be doing it. Maybe I'll have Andy back on again sometime if he wants to, and we'll talk about something else. Um,
Absolutely.
I'm at 13,600 and something subscribers now. If we can get to 15,000 subscribers before the end of that streaming period, I'm going to give away a brand new amp. So I haven't decided which one yet,
Oh,
but
that's
it'll probably
awesome,
be in
dude.
this one. So,
Congratulations for getting that far already, man. That's
oh
awesome.
yeah,
So what do you got, like
yeah.
14 something?
No, I'm at 13.6 now.
That's
So
not bad though.
no,
1.4K to get. You can do it.
oh
Absolutely,
yeah,
especially with the giveaway, man. That's
yeah.
awesome.
So I'll probably announce that on the first stream, and we'll do that stuff. So it'll be
That's
fun.
awesome. Yeah, just let me know when. I'll be happy to join you.
Yeah, man. El Fuego's gonna join me for one, so y'all
Awesome.
get ready for that. We're gonna see what he's talking about. Maybe El Fuego get the temporary neck tats. I think you'll look cool.
Yeah, just like the one we literally seen. Just boom,
Yeah,
Fuego with like a little
there
bit
you,
of flames,
El Fuego. There you go. Perfect. All right. I appreciate you coming on, Andy, and we will catch you tomorrow, me and Dean, And Andy will be Friday. Are you guys streaming this Friday?
We'll be streaming Friday Rolling Thunder, and then on my channel right after that.
Cool, man.
Absolutely.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll catch y'all later.
See you guys.